Most would agree that Star Wars is a medium that is best experienced on the big screen with as big an audience as possible. It was a story that was made to be watched and experienced, not simply read and imagined. However, there are some instances where the words of the novel carries the weight of certain moments with more distinguishment than in the film. In these very rare instances where the books are better than the movies, it makes us sorely wish that those scenes had been altered to deliver the full impact of the perspective, given the gravity of the situation that they deserve. One such scene would be when Anakin reveals to Windu that Chancellor Palpatine is in fact the Sith Lord they've been looking for. The Revenge of the Sith film and the novel are similar, but there are several key differences between the two versions of this account, and as it's seen in Revenge of the Sith, it's actually a lot different in the book. What's interesting also is George Lucas approves of both versions. Lucas appreciated the novel for delivering all the content that had to be cut from the original screenplay. But what we appreciate in the channel is how well the novel conveys the crushing gravity of the Jedi Order's worst fears coming to pass. And in today's Holocron, we are going to compare the scene of the film with its novel counterpart, and give our opinion on why we think the book is actually way better. Afterwards though, we want to hear whether or not you agree, and what version you think should be the official one in canon. So now, let's begin. This is a different kind of video for us, but we're excited. The importance of this scene cannot be understated. Anakin has just discovered that the man he has trusted his entire life, his father figure, his mentor, is the Sith Lord behind everything. And now because he's the chosen one of prophecy, he has decided to do the Jedi thing, the right thing. He turns over his friend to the council, because he knows that this is what a Jedi would do. But he is still reeling from the information, and Anakin has not processed or even accepted it. For Windu though, he would have just heard that the Sith Lord had been the leader of the Republic for the last 10 years. This means that the Jedi have been answering to the Sith this entire time, doing his bidding, and that their greatest enemy has control of the beloved Republic that Mace Windu loves more than anything. Mace Windu has sat in the same room as this man countless times. His incredibly perceptive ability of Shatterpoint never once picked up that Palpatine was a being of darkness, a being that could rival Yoda. And this creature has not only been ruling the Republic right under the Jedi's nose, but he has now engineered the entire war from the beginning. All of this weight and more is falling upon Mace Windu in this single moment. So how would this interaction reasonably play out? In the two are walking and having a chat in the temple hangar bay. Anakin delivers this news gravely, but maintains a stoic, if not perturbed demeanor. Windu breaks his Jedi composure for a brief moment due to his shock, but after receiving the news, he simply asks Anakin if he is sure, and then says that their worst fears have been realized. Anakin wants to come with Mace Windu, but Mace tells him to stay at the temple, not trusting Anakin due to the amount of confusion that he senses within him. Mace, though, then promptly enters the Republic shuttle and departs to arrest the Chancellor. In our mind, the scene serves its purpose, but it does little else. Windu and the Jedi needed to be given the information that Palpatine was Sidious, and once they got it, they rushed off immediately to arrest him, moving Anakin's story forward. If one had no context of the events surrounding this moment, and was not aware of the alternate scene in the novel though, then there would be no issues with how this plays out. But when we are aware of these things in great detail, it is hard to feel as though the film delivers this moment with sufficient emphasis. The Jedi didn't believe that Sidious ever existed for a very long time, not until the tail end of the war. And towards the beginning of the war, they simply believed that Dooku had lied to Obi-Wan. They assumed that the Tyrannus that they had heard of from Jango Fett was the real master behind the war, that Tyrannus was the main Sith. That was all the way until 19 BBY, when they discovered that Dooku and Tyrannus were the same. This, along with other factors they noticed, opened up investigation back into Sidious. Eventually the Jedi traced Sidious to Coruscant, and realized that he could actually be within the Senate. The Jedi theorized that he was puppeteering Palpatine directly as the war continued. However, they were always 2 steps behind. In the novel, Obi-Wan is actually deeply disturbed by Mace Windu. Windu seems to be slipping due to his paranoia. He has become radicalized, arguing with even Yoda, and insisting that the Jedi need to take over the office of the Chancellor. Windu knows that a Sith Lord is all around them, but he cannot pin him down, and the investigation is blatantly driving him insane, and the rest of the Jedi are beginning to tell. Anakin himself has been extremely sleep deprived from the entire time he's been on Coruscant. The nightmares of Padme are causing him to avoid sleeping altogether. This, coupled with the disappointment of not being awarded the rank of master despite being a hero of the war, the council making him a spy of his father figure, and the guilt that he has carried over beheading Dooku. All of this is explored extensively in the book, showing that Anakin isn't himself, and he is suffering greatly inside. But when Palpatine reveals that he is a Sith Lord, it's all too much for a young Anakin to bear. He buckles under the weight of it all, and he finally reaches his breaking point. We will now read the entire scene from start to finish directly from the book, so that you can feel the impact of the way that he did, and the way that we did experiencing Windu and Anakin's emotions. As a brief aside, we've slightly edited this passage for the sake of clarity. Mace lowered his head, and stood in the darkness and the silence. The door of the comm center shot open, spilling yellow glare into the room, and lining the silhouette of a man half collapsed against the frame. "Master." The voice was a hoarse half-whisper. "Master Windu." "Skywalker." Mace was at his side in an instant. "What's wrong? Are you hurt?" Anakin took Mace's arm in a grip of desperate strength, and used it like a crutch to haul himself upright. "Obi-Wan," he said faintly. "I need to talk to Obi-Wan." Mace responds. "Obi-Wan is operational on Utapau. He has destroyed General Grievous. We are leaving now to tell the Chancellor, and to see to it that he steps down as he has promised." Steps down? Anakin's voice had a sharply bitter edge to it. "You have no idea. Listen to me. You have to listen to me." Anakin sagged against him, shaking now. Windu wrapped his arms around the young Jedi and guided him into the nearest chair. "You can't, please. Master Windu, give me your word. Promise me it'll be an arrest. Promise me you're not going to hurt him." Mace then says this. "Skywalker, Anakin, you must try to answer. Have you been attacked? Are you injured? You have to tell me what's wrong." Anakin collapsed forward, face into his hands. Mace reached into the Force, opening the eye of his special gift of perception, but what he found there froze his blood. The tangled web of fault lines in the Force that he had seen connecting Anakin to Obi-Wan and to Palpatine was now no more. In their place was a single spider knot that sang with enough power to crack an entire planet, to crack Coruscant. Anakin no longer had Shatterpoints. Anakin was a Shatterpoint. The Shatterpoint. Everything depended on him. Everything. Mace said slowly, with the same sort of deliberance that he would care when examining an unknown type of bomb, one that may have the power to destroy the universe itself. "Anakin, look at me." Skywalker raised his head, and Mace frowned. Anakin's eyes were raw and red. His face looked swollen, and for a long time, he didn't know if Anakin would answer, if he even could answer, if he could even speak at all. All the young Jedi seemed to be doing was struggling with something deep inside himself, as though he fought desperately against the birth of a monster hatching within his chest. But in the Force, there was no as though, there was no seem to be. In the Force, Mace Windu could feel the monster inside Anakin Skywalker. A real monster. Too real. One that was eating him alive from the inside out. Fear. This was the wound that Anakin had taken. This was the hurt that had him shaking and stammering, too weak to stand. Some black fear had hatched like fever wasp inside of the young knight's brain, and it was now killing him. Finally, after what seemed like forever, Anakin opened his blood-raw eyes. "Master Windu," he spoke softly. He spoke painfully as though each word ripped away a raw hunk of his own flesh. "I have bad news." Mace stared at him. "Bad news," he repeated blankly. What news could be bad enough to make a Jedi like Anakin Skywalker collapse like this? What news could make Anakin Skywalker look like the stars had all gone out? Then, in 9 simple words, Anakin told him, "This is the moment that defines Mace Windu. Not his countless victories in battle, nor the numberless battles his diplomacy has avoided, not his penetrating intellect, not his talents in the Force, or his unmatched skills with the lightsaber, not Windu's dedication to the Jedi, or his devotion to the Republic that he serves, but this, right here, right now, because Mace too has an attachment. Mace has a secret love. Mace Windu loves the Republic." Many of his students quote to the students of their own, "The Jedi do not fight for peace. This is only a slogan, and is as misleading as many slogans can be. The Jedi fight for civilization, because civilization creates peace." For Mace Windu, for all of Windu's life, for all of the lives of the thousands of years of the Jedi before him, true civilization has only ever had one name: the Republic. Windu has given his life in the service of his love. He has taken lives in the service of his love, and lost the lives of innocents. He has seen beings that he cares for maimed, killed, and sometimes worse. Sometimes so broken by the horror of the struggle that their only answer was to commit horrors greater still. And all because of that, all of that love now here, in this instant, Anakin Skywalker has 9 words for him that shred his heart, burn it to pieces, and then fed him its smoking ashes. Palpatine is Sidious. The Chancellor is a Sith Lord. Windu doesn't even hear the words, not really. Their true meaning is too large for his mind to gather in all at once. They mean that all he has done, and that all that has been done to him, that all the Order has accomplished, all that the Order has suffered, all that the galaxy itself has gone through, all the years of suffering and slaughter, the death of entire planets, this has all been for nothing. Because it was all done to save the Republic, which was already gone, which had already fallen, the corpse of which had been defended only by a Jedi Order that was now under the command of a Dark Lord of the Sith. Mace Windu's entire existence had become crystal, so shot through with the flaws that the moment of those 9 words had crushed him to sand. But because he is Mace Windu, he takes this blow without a change of expression. Because he is Mace Windu, within a second the man of sand is stone once more. Pure Jedi Master, weighing coldly the risk of facing the last Dark Lord of the Sith without the Chosen One, against the risk of facing the last Dark Lord of the Sith with the Chosen One, eaten alive by fear. And because he is Mace Windu, the choice is no choice at all. Anakin, wait in the council chamber until we get back. Anakin responds, "What, Master?" "That's an order, Anakin." "But the Chancellor," Anakin says desperately, clutching at the Jedi Master's hand. "What are you going to do?" And it is the true measure of Mace Windu that even now, he is still telling the truth when he says this. "Only as much as I have to." The novelization delivers the galaxy-rupturing truth with an impact that completely blows the scene of the film out of the water. Now obviously there are a lot of things in the book that couldn't really be translated to the film. This helps the book out a lot, such as how Mace Windu sees Anakin in the Force, his own internal monologue that he has about himself. But there was a way to convey the character's reaction and the states of mind in a different way. Having Anakin approach Windu with the exact sort of look he had immediately after betraying him would be a start, glistening with a panicking sweat, unable to stand on his own, barely getting out the words between breaths. In the book, you also see how Mace Windu genuinely cares for Anakin. All their squabbles aside, Windu is genuinely concerned for him, and he even begins to sense the growing presence of Darth Vader within Anakin. Born from an overwhelming amount of fear, it becomes palpable. I love that. The way that the novel says that he speaks to Anakin as though he's defusing a bomb is a perfect way to characterize why Mace Windu did not take the Chosen One with him. It was more than a lack of trust, it was a concern over his well-being, perhaps even his life. If Anakin was shown looking like this in the film, it would make a lot more sense why Windu commanded him to remain in the council chambers. Now, our feelings aside, there was one camp that may say that their composure in the film makes sense because they are Jedi, and are taught to restrain their emotions completely. This is obviously true. Anakin managing to deliver the news the way he did in the hangar shows that he is in a state of denial. The real weight of it all doesn't truly hit him until he's alone in the council chambers. Windu remains stoic, because even as the novel points out, he is shattered and then reformed into rock within less than a second. He pushes away the gravity of it all for the sake of his own sanity and the sake of the mission. Windu's strength is that he is action-minded, and he can act without being controlled by feelings. This is reflected in the very nature of Vapad. He thinks logically, critically, discerning through the Force all of the confusion and fear within Anakin. And of course, facing down the Dark Lord of the Sith would require only the most disciplined of Jedi. We may even say that the true weight of the situation doesn't hit Windu himself until after he is Palpatine at blade point. The moment he decides that Sidious is too dangerous to be left alive, the moment that he must be killed. This decision made against the Jedi way because the reality of it all was now hitting him. Palpatine has control of the Senate and the courts, and not only that, but Windu has just felt the depths of his darkness during their duel, spraying Force lightning everywhere that nearly murdered them all. Furthermore, he realized that Sidious has a grip on the Chosen One. If the Sith had influence over Anakin, he was truly too dangerous to be left alive. So in defense of the film version, the realization scene was kept to a minimum so that the true impact could arrive during the climax and the confrontation with Sidious. But I also love that the novel at the same time has given us this interaction. It was a moment that Anakin buckled under the pressure. The moment Mace Windu dropped his composure and realized that the war had been a lie. This would lead directly into Anakin's desperation and joining the dark side. It would have shown why Windu had been so hasty in his judgments. And for us, the version of the reveal and Mace Windu's reaction is superior to that in the movie. one of the rare moments. But what do you think, guys? What camp do you belong to? Should the drama have been emphasized to show the depths of the characters' feelings? Or do you like the film version where they remain composed until the very last moment where it all falls apart? Or are you in a third camp, where you prefer a mixture of the two? Be sure to let us know your comments and your takes down below. And until next time, thank you so much for joining us today in the archives, and may the Force be with you.